Hey Pussy new little video. And this one's going to be kind of interesting. The reason is that it's going to be a video response to a video response that I did a long time ago actually, and I'm starting to get some comments. So I don't know how come people are watching my video, but anyway, on that one, we'll do a little bit of clarification and explain a little bit better what I was meaning in that thing. And mostly the comments that I got, and I'll link the video down in the comment and the comment that I did of that comment, but I wanted to explain a little bit more is that basically this is what I do. And so basically I put all my gauze. So a gauze usually comes in a package like this. I put mine in vacuum and I suction the air out and stuff. And basically people were saying, well, one person in particular was saying that techniques shouldn't be done for that. I'll put two links of two videos and an article down. Let's start first about the two videos. And so basically, there's basically two main, and I'll give you a better definition. So this is from that book, Fundamental Nursing. And it's called aseptic techniques. And so basically when you try to do like put a catheter in or anything that you would insert something into the body, obviously you want to limit. So there's two ones. Medical sepsis, or that we call clean techniques. And it refers to measure taking to control and reduce the number of pathogen presence. And surgical sepsis refers to sterile technique. Is to be sterile, an object must be free of all microorganisms. Sterile technique is used to prevent the introduction or spread of pathogen from the environment into the client. The client meaning like the person that you're taking care of. So basically what they're talking about is that, for example, if I put a catheter inside a bladder or if I put an intravenous and stuff, I'm going to try to decrease my bacterial load. And I will refer to you the video that I did on wounds about bacterial loads and stuff like this. Obviously, if you have no broken or you're not inserting anything inside anything, clean technique is pretty good. So if you're just changing stuff on the surface and everything. Well, so basically what this person was saying is that it is a little bit, well, not dangerous, but anyway, you'll see the comment down there that this is not a good way to do it, and maybe I should recheck my nursing status apparently as well. But what you seem, so basically what seems to have missed from that concept that I was trying to explain. So first, obviously in a hospital, I use those, and I will open them, and I'll show you quickly and in a quick example. There's a way to open those for an aseptic technique. So if I'm in the hospital, I will. There's one reason why I'm telling in the environment that we're talking about here and limited resource and outside in the wilderness, why clean technique is a little bit not better, but pretty much the best you'll get than this technique. First of all, the wounds that you're going to get will be more dirty. I mean, there'll be dirt, there'll be sweats and everything. It'll be hard to keep cleaner than other environment. Even in a self-reliance medicine situation, you'll be limited with your resource. And you'll see from the video downstairs, when you start using sterile technique, you're using a lot of resource. To open those packages the way it is and have a sterile fields and everything takes a lot of resource. And so if I'm about to use a sterile technique on someone, that means I'm going to be using a lot of my on my gear, and again we'll have a whole videos on wound care and why I don't use those anymore, but those are in my emergency kit, like for road stuff, but it was for the presentation. But you'll use a lot of that stuff and you don't have it. So basically clean, sterile, again, it's and anything that we kind of do in medicine, you always you can always justify. Like for example, if you take a pill, there's a risk of taking a pill, but there's a benefit. So if the benefits outweigh the risk, then you do it. If the risks outweigh the benefits, you don't do it. It's the same thing here. So if I'm going to lose my resource, meaning that because I want to keep it this way, first of all, obviously you cannot compare, but the package is there will have advantage of this, is I can carry way more like this than if I carry in that package right over there. There's the way also that one of the issue is that, and I'll demonstrate that very quickly here now, there's an advantage of taking this versus this in a situation where you're going to be in waters and stuff like this. And again, for the sterility of it. So if I can keep it clean, so that means like for this now, like even you know, and right now actually I'll do the demonstration I wanted to do. So bucket of water, put this on. So I got my dressing in. I got this dressing in. See this one? Water is purling, right? There's no water inside. It's everything. It's sealed. And see now this one. Right from the package you can kind of see. And so what I was talking about, aseptic technique, is that basically when you open your package, actually I cannot do it because the package is screwed up. This is, my thing is, and I didn't leave it very long, but now the package has been contaminated and it's been not protecting as well. And this is a little bit wet. Obviously I didn't leave it long enough. I didn't leave it a long time here, but the package will, and this is kind of wet a little bit. It's not as wet as I would like, but the package will, as you can see, it's been compromised. It will lose a little bit as plastic, and if it would have left longer than this, and this was what, maybe 10-15 seconds, and if I leave it for like an hour or 2 hours, this package, you see, like it's already kind of different than what it was. It protected a little bit, but there was still a little bit water kind of feeling. It felt a bit moist there. And that was for 15 seconds. So imagine an hour or 2 hours, and imagine now that you, I don't know, there's been a flood or something, and you lost your stuff. This is not sterile anymore. Your sterility is, as soon as the package is compromised, you lost your sterility. So now, also now, not only that you lost your sterility, but you lost your cleanness of your dressing. This one, I could have left it for hours and hours. It's protected. That's what it's made for. It's sealed. And so basically now I can leave this as many times as I want. I won't lose the cleanness of my dressing. Versus this, I will lose anything. So risk benefit, I'm going with this hands-on. The other thing as well is I was, well, there was mention of, because I'm keeping my staples in a package like this. This is I use in last resort, and most of the time, in other videos I talk about that I don't use it for suturing and stuff. I don't believe in suturing in condition that we're working in. So this I'll use mostly for scalp laceration. They're awesome for cutting the bleeding because you can lose a lot of bleeding. Again, risk benefits. If I inject an injection in the head, yeah, I may, but stopping the bleeding will be my priority versus the infections. And this, now that it's clean, again, same processes that I just showed. If I kept it in its original box, the original box is made for keeping it in a hospital setting or something that is dry. This now I can carry in my bag. If I lose my bag, in the river or something like this, this will still be protected. This I'll still be able to use. Not as sterile as I would like to, not as clean, but clean for sure. So my clean technique, again, an advantage versus the sterile technique for the other ones. And also the articles also that I put down, because there have been some studies. The environment that you're going to work on, they say that it shouldn't be maybe part of your stuff. But for example, if you have a healthy person, doesn't have any immunocompromise. And again, the videos that I did on, and I'll put the link because I've been mentioning a lot of it. The load, all the infection, for example, for wound, because we're talking mostly wound infection here, it's about the load of bacteria that you have. Your environment is not clean, your skin is not clean, it is not sterile, you don't have sterile skin, and especially if you're in the outdoors with sweats and everything, or even if you're in self-reliance situation where basically hygiene will be a little bit harder to get and everything, well then your skin won't be clean. And so as soon as you're going to break that skin down, all that stuff will go into your wounds. So right there, to keep a wound clean is kind of almost, it will be impossible. So that's why the sterility versus the other point that we like to make is that if you look at the two videos, one is an essential dressing change by a nurse. So she keeps, like, for example, her hands clean and everything. If you look at the doctors, when you put the central lines in, and so basically a central line is a line that you're going to put mostly sometime in the neck, sometime in this area or over here. And basically what you're going to do is you want to, and those are two sterile technique, but you can see that they use way different. Like the doctor has a mask, he wears like something to protect the hair, he even sometimes going to use the goggles, they're going to use like sterile gowns, and the others don't use this. So there's kind of different levels of sterility anyway. For example, the person that's going to do your surgery will clean herself, like their hands, almost for 10 to 15 minutes with a special brush, very abrasive and very hard stuff, but they need to because they'll be into your body. So more intrusive that you are, more sterile you have to be. And so obviously in a self-reliance situation, we will try not to get into the body as less, and that's actually another point where IV maybe not be the best use in a self-reliance situations, because now you'll have increased chance of inserting bacteria, because it will be hard to maintain the sterility of an environment. So maybe less invasive procedure will be better. But obviously in a hospital we're a different setup. It's a different mentality, and I don't know why people always try to bring the hospital up to the self-reliance medicine. It's different medicine, it's different setup, it's different environment. Everything will be different on this, and therefore you have to adapt your situation based on what's going to happen. And so I prefer having my dressing less sterile, yes, but keep them clean and be able to use them when I need them, than to have a sterile stuff and everything that if I lose my box because there's a flood or something, or there's something that happens, or the water filled up because of the toilets, or the drains gets over because the electricity is not working or something like this, and I use my gear, but this, it can be floating in dirty water, I don't care, it's sealed. So that's much protective than any of the other sterility and stuff. So we have to change our techniques depending on the situation that we're gonna have. So basically, this is what I wanted to talk about, is that yes, you'll hear about sterile technique, and yes, in the hospital we'll do things differently, but also don't forget, in the hospital there's probably more bugs in the hospital than there is in your home. So home care, for example, will be a little bit less. They'll still do sterile techniques and things like that, don't get me wrong, but they'll be a little bit less concerned about this because they're your bugs. They're your bugs in your house. It's your stuff that is around you. So it's not like the same thing that if you have MRSA all over the place in the hospital. And actually, because we over clean a lot of the time, like we were using too much products and everything, and it's a little bit, microbes is a little bit like a poker game. If you show all your cards to their microbes, they figure out your game pretty easily, and then they're starting to win all the hands. Well, same thing with antimicrobial. We're using all antimicrobial soaps and everything, throwing all the antibiotics and everything. We're throwing all the big guns. Well, the antibiotics, the microbes are not too stupid. They will find a way to adapt, and they will find a way to big to your hands. And it takes a few little time to do it, but they're doing it. And so the big bugs that we have now in the hospital and everything, I've been creating because we've been using too much product and everything. Does that mean that we have to not clean our hands and everything? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there's a limitation of the sterility that we need to keep our stuff, and there's a way of doing it things, and that's why I'm using this way for all the reasons that I explained. So anyway, hopefully that was not too much of a rant and makes things a little bit more clear, and I'll talk to you